We've been married for 9 years. We have a daughter, a mortgage, and a shared Spotify account that still has playlists we made on our honeymoon. For most of our marriage, I thought we were on the same page. We were both independent thinkers, open-minded, communicative, or so I believed. My wife, Hannah, was smart, strong-willed, deeply opinionated in the best possible way. She wasn't afraid to call out injustice. She read a lot of feminist literature, took courses online, moderated discussion groups. I admired her passion, even when I didn't always understand it. But things changed after our daughter was born. At first, I chalked it up to exhaustion. She was tired, drained, adjusting to motherhood. Understandable. I did my part. Late-night bottles, laundry, diapers, walks. I wanted to be a real partner. I figured once we settled into a rhythm, the spark would return. But it didn't. The distance didn't shrink. It grew. The hugs stopped. The casual touches vanished. And any time I tried to be close, she reacted like I was asking something crude. One night, maybe a year after the baby was born, I sat down beside her in bed and said gently, "I miss being close to you. I miss how we used to be." She didn't even look at me. She just stared at the ceiling and said, "Of course you do. That's what men always want. It's not enough that I'm raising your child. I also have to perform too." The word perform hit me like a slap. I backed off, apologized, felt ashamed, even though I didn't really understand what I'd done wrong. That became a pattern. Every time I expressed a need for closeness, I was told it was selfish, immature, conditioned by toxic masculinity. "Your idea of love is still rooted in power," she told me once. "Real relationships aren't transactional." Eventually, I stopped asking. I started telling myself that this was growth, that maybe true maturity was learning to live without certain things, that if I really loved her, I should stop needing so much from her. But it hurt, quietly, constantly. Meanwhile, she started spending more and more time at the gym. She said she needed to reconnect with her body, not for anyone else, just for herself. She bought new workout clothes, fancy shoes, a high-end water bottle. I thought it was a good thing, healthy, but something felt off. She started going 4-5 times a week, started posting gym selfies with cryptic captions like, "She remembered who she was and the game changed." She came home glowing, not just sweaty, but lit up inside. And yet, for me, she was colder than ever. The gym started out as therapy. That's what she called it anyway. My time, my reset. She said being a mother drained her, that she needed a space where no one wanted anything from her. Not the baby, not the dishes, not me. And I agreed. Hell, I encouraged it. I was proud of her. She was finally taking care of herself again, after months of exhaustion, resentment, gray skin, and broken sleep. I thought maybe this would bring her back to life, and selfishly, maybe back to me. It did bring something back, just not for me. At first it was just once or twice a week, then 3 times, then every day, then twice a day. Morning cardio before work, evening weights after dinner. One time I half joked, "Are you training for the Olympics?" She gave me this tight smile, the kind that isn't really a smile, and said, "No, I'm just finally choosing me. You should try it sometime." It stung. I didn't say anything back. I never knew what to say anymore, because everything I said could be twisted into proof that I was controlling or emotionally demanding or, her favorite word, codependent. She'd leave in black leggings and a plain hoodie, but come back in a different outfit. Different mood even, light on her feet, smelling like vanilla and sweat and something else I couldn't name. Sometimes with freshly applied lip gloss, hours after the gym. And I told myself it was nothing. She was just rediscovering herself, finding her spark. This was good. But then came the small, sharp shifts. I'd walk into the room and see her phone screen tilt away from me. Just slightly, just enough. She started getting texts at odd hours, 10:52 p.m., 6:15 a.m. I noticed the names, Coach J, strong core, mobility man, names I'd never seen in her contacts before. Once she laughed at something she read and whispered, "Oh my God, you're so dumb," then caught herself and quickly locked the screen. I asked, "Who was that?" She looked up slowly and said, "Don't start." Just like that. A warning, no affection, no explanation, just a wall. I told myself I was being crazy. I wanted to be crazy. Being wrong would have been a relief, but the signs kept piling up. She started taking longer showers after gym nights. 45 minutes. Once, nearly an hour. The water running while she played music on her phone. Upbeat songs, club tracks, stuff she hadn't listened to since before we had a kid. I sat outside the door once, just listening, not spying, just trying to make sense of it. All I heard was her voice, humming, actually humming. I can't remember the last time I'd heard her hum around me. That night, she came out of the shower in a towel, walked past me without a glance, and said casually, "Can you fold the laundry?" Then she went into the bedroom and shut the door. I sat in the hallway for a full minute, staring at that closed door, feeling like a stranger in my own house. There was a time when she'd kiss me on the neck while passing, maybe even pull me into the shower with her. Now I was a background character, a housemate with shared responsibilities and nothing else. But then came the real moment, the one I couldn't unsee. A few nights later, she came home late from the gym again, said the class ran long. She kissed the top of my head, again like I was the family dog, and started walking upstairs. Her phone buzzed. She didn't hear it. I glanced at the screen. It was still lit. A name I didn't recognize. Mark, strength coach. And the message, "You're fired, girl, still thinking about earlier." I blinked. My throat dried out instantly. My stomach dropped. I didn't sleep that night. She climbed into bed next to me, hair still damp, scrolling on her phone like nothing happened. She was calm, light, the kind of ease she hadn't shown in our relationship in years. But it wasn't for me. I lay there stiff, my chest so tight it felt like I was being held underwater. My body was perfectly still, but inside, chaos. My heart pounded like it was trying to warn me, scream at me, shake me awake from a lie I didn't want to let go of. She rolled over, pulled the blanket to her chin and said, "Good night." Not a kiss, not a touch, just 2 words, neutral, routine. I wanted to believe I had imagined the message. Maybe it was just a joke. Maybe it was some harmless gym banter, and I was just projecting my fears, like she always said I did. But that emoji, that tone, still thinking about earlier. No, that wasn't friendly. That wasn't innocent. That was a man who had touched her recently, maybe hours before she came home, before she kissed my head. I watched her face as she fell asleep, peaceful, untouched by the war going on inches from her. And for the first time, I truly saw her. Not the woman I married, not the mother of my child, not the person I'd been trying to reach for months, but someone else, someone who had already left me. She just forgot to pack her bags. The next morning, I couldn't pretend anymore. I waited for her to leave for work. She always left early on Fridays. Same routine, gym bag in the trunk, tight black leggings, new top, light makeup, no goodbye kiss, just, "Don't forget the parent-teacher thing at 6. I nodded. She walked out, closed the door like she wasn't walking away from anything important. And I just stood there, frozen, for a full minute, in my own hallway, in my own house, where nothing felt real anymore. I walked slowly to the bedroom, sat on the edge of the bed where she had just been lying. Her old tablet was still on the nightstand, the one she used to read on. I hadn't seen her touch it in months. I picked it up. It lit up, unlocked instantly, no password. I opened messages. At first, nothing. Family chats, Amazon delivery notifications, school group texts. Then I saw it. "Mark." I hesitated. I wanted to put it down. I wanted to not be that guy. But then I thought about all the nights I spent wondering if I was broken, all the mornings I apologized for needing her, All the time she looked at me like I was pathetic for trying, and I tapped the name. The thread was long, very long, hundreds of messages, weeks of back and forth, photos, her in front of the gym mirror, some close, some very close, flirty captions, winks. You seriously drive me crazy. I couldn't focus after yesterday. I still feel your hands. You make me feel more alive than I've felt in years. Each message punched a new hole in my stomach. Each one rewrote a piece of my marriage. And then I read the one that finally broke me. He thinks I'm tired all the time, but the truth is, I just can't stand pretending with him anymore. I just sat there, holding the tablet like it was a dead animal, because I finally understood. It wasn't that she didn't want connection. It wasn't that she was exhausted, or traumatized, or reclaiming her body. She just didn't want me. And instead of saying that, she made me believe that wanting my own wife made me toxic. I didn't plan what to say. I didn't rehearse it in my head. I didn't pace the room or practice a speech. I just waited. Sat in silence the rest of the day, tablet still open in my lap, her words burning into my brain like acid on skin. By the time she walked through the front door, the house was already full of truth. She just didn't know it yet. She came in casually, dropping her keys into the bowl by the door. Hair in a bun, hoodie unzipped, fresh from the gym. "Hey," she said. "I'm starving. Did you eat?" No. I was sitting at the dining table, lights off, just one lamp on in the corner. The air between us was electric, heavy, but she didn't feel it yet. She put her water bottle on the counter and said, "I'm gonna shower. Can we order Thai after? I really need noodles." "Sit down." My voice didn't shake. I didn't raise it. I just said it like a fact. She turned to look at me, confused, maybe slightly amused. "Why?" "Just sit." A pause. She came over slowly, cautious, sat across from me. I could tell she was scanning me, trying to figure out the tone. Was I upset about something at school? Did I find a receipt? Was this about the budget? She had no idea. I slid the tablet across the table toward her. Unlocked, screen bright. The last message still open. "He thinks I'm tired all the time, but the truth is, I just can't stand pretending with him anymore." Her eyes flicked down. She froze. No gasp, no scream, no fake confusion, just silence. "How long?" I asked. "Nothing." I said how long. She swallowed hard, then finally whispered, "A few months." I nodded. That matched the timeline. The late-night gym sessions, the sudden self-care, the distance, the lies. Was it ever about healing, or just about hiding? "I didn't mean for it to get this far." "You didn't mean for me to find out," I corrected. "You don't understand what it's like. You always wanted something from me. I couldn't breathe without you trying to touch me." I leaned forward, calm, steady. "You told me physical intimacy was a tool of patriarchy. It is. Except when it's with him, then it's, what, empowerment?" Her face twisted. For a second she looked like she wanted to cry, or scream, or throw something. But instead she whispered, "With him, it was my choice." I nodded again. "With me, it was your responsibility. With him, it was your reward." She didn't answer. She didn't have to. "You made me feel broken for needing you, for craving closeness with my own wife. You called me immature, toxic, emotionally dependent." "Because it was constant," she snapped. "I couldn't even walk past you without feeling like you were waiting for something." "Because I missed you," I said quietly. "Because I was watching my wife slip away and didn't know why." She looked away. "I'm sorry." But it wasn't real. It was reflex. She wasn't sorry she did it. She was sorry she got caught in the contradiction between her narrative and her desire. "I'm leaving," I said, standing up. "Wait. Not because of what you did with him, but because of what you did to me." She flinched, like I'd just struck a match in a dark room. Not because she didn't see this coming, but because now it was real. Now there was consequence. "Please don't," she said quickly. Her voice trembled, but her face hadn't cracked yet. "We have a child. We can work through this. You've always said marriage takes work." I looked at her, really looked. This was the same woman who had called me emotionally needy for missing her touch, who had rolled her eyes every time I tried to start a conversation about how distant we'd become, who told me I was pressuring her just for wanting to hold her at night. Now she wanted to fix it? Now that I wasn't begging anymore? "You made it clear who you are now," I said. "You chose him, not just with your body, but with how you treated me every day after." "It wasn't about him," she said quickly. I felt alive again, and I didn't know how to get that with you. Everything between us felt like obligation. So you punished me for loving you." That shut her up. For once she had no philosophy, no article to quote, no Instagram therapist to mimic, just guilt, or maybe just fear. "I can change Jim's," she said suddenly, desperately. "I can block him. I already deleted the photos. We can do therapy. I'll read books. I'll do whatever you want." "No," I said. "You'll do whatever it takes to make sure I don't walk out that door." "Isn't that what you wanted? For me to want you again?" "Not like this." She stood up now, crossing the space between us in 2 quick steps, and grabbed my wrist. "I'll try harder, I swear. I'll fix it. I got lost. I confused power with resentment. But I don't want to lose our family." Her grip was shaking, but mine wasn't. "You already lost it," I said. "You just didn't feel it yet, because I was the one holding everything together while you burned it down." She let go. I picked up my bag. I'd packed it earlier that afternoon. A few clothes, my charger, a toothbrush. I didn't need much. I already knew I wasn't coming back. That night I slept on my brother's couch. The first sleep in months that didn't end in guilt, shame, or silence. The first morning I woke up not asking what else I'd done wrong, just for wanting to be seen. We filed for divorce 2 weeks later. She cried at mediation, wore soft sweaters, told the lawyer she never meant to cause harm. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I just signed the papers, watched the pen move, and felt the weight finally lift. A few months later, our daughter asked me why Mommy and Daddy lived in different houses now. I told her, because sometimes love turns into something that hurts people, and the best way to keep loving someone, even if it's just as parents, is to do it from farther away. She nodded. "With my wife. We don't talk much now, just the basics. School pickups, holidays, shared expenses, everything through text, everything polite, efficient, cold." She tried being warm for a while, sent casual emojis, friendly, hope you're doing well messages. Once she even sent me an old photo of us in Paris, from before the baby, before the distance. I didn't reply, just because that version of us doesn't exist anymore, and pretending it does felt like another lie she wanted me to live inside. A mutual friend told me she did switch gyms. She changed her number, deleted her social media for a while. Rebranded, I guess. Started a book club. Began posting about healing and radical honesty. I heard the trainer moved to another state. She never mentioned him again. Another friend, one of hers, told me, quietly, that Hannah didn't think I would actually leave, that she always thought I'd just sulk, cry, forgive. When she realized I was gone, emotionally, mentally, legally, it hit her like a car crash. She cried, apparently, had a breakdown at her mom's place, said she made a mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was a choice she repeated. Every gym session, every time she mocked me in a text, every time she said no to me and yes to him. And now she lives in a small apartment. She shares custody, buys self-help books, starts sentences with, "I've learned that." She says she's working on herself, and maybe she is. I don't wish her harm, but I also don't pity her. Because the thing about burning bridges is that eventually you have to stand in the smoke alone and figure out whether the fire was worth it. As for me, I focused on getting quiet again. Not in the way she made me quiet. Ashamed, small, silenced, but truly quiet. Peaceful. Still. I started sleeping again. Real sleep. Not the kind where your body rests while your brain replays every rejection on loop. I went back to therapy. Started going on long drives with no destination. Picked up my guitar again. It had been gathering dust in the closet for years. I even joined a weekend basketball group with some guys from work. I hadn't touched a ball in a decade. At first it felt stupid. Forced. But eventually, life started to feel like mine again. Not because someone loved me, not because someone validated me, but because I stopped confusing being tolerated with being loved. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a broken man anymore. I saw someone who had finally stopped begging to be wanted and started learning how to want himself.